Hello, new teachers. This is our first video and I am using your Post-its that you submitted, and I am dividing these up into three sections. This first one is general career questions, and so two of them are asking for resources for English teachers or elementary teachers. I will send out some links to some great websites that I think are full of good resources for you. The other two questions I'm going to address in this video, the first one asks, how do you ask your principal for a recommendation letter so you can leave without them knowing, especially if you're just looking and applying but you don't have a job lined up. Okay, so there's a couple ways to go about this. First, you need to consider whether or not your principal is actually the best person to ask. You don't have to have a recommendation from your principal. It could be a vice principal, it could be a department chair, it could even be a coworker. So if you're afraid that asking will create a negative work environment, then ask one of those other people instead. Another way you can go about this is say something like, I'm considering moving due to personal issues or family matters might cause me to move next year, and just in case I'd like to have a letter if that takes place. So that's one way that you can ask without offending anyone and making them feel like you don't want to work at their school. The next question says, how many years were you teaching before you became a university professor? How did you get there schooling-wise? Okay, so for me, I went and got my bachelor's in English and a teaching credential. I was a middle school teacher. I went straight in to my master's right away, kept going. For me, it made sense to go straight through. I did not stop going to school until I finished with everything. Not everybody does that. That's pretty difficult and hard to do. For me, I didn't have kids, so it was easier for me than many people. So that's one way to do it. I went and got a master's in education. Mine was sort of a generic master's in education with emphasis in teaching, but you can also get a master's in administration. You can get a master's in counseling. You can get a master's in curriculum and instruction. There's lots of different paths in education. A lot of those allow you to also climb up in the district world for your career, which is great. Higher pay and more responsibilities. But any master's in education will allow you to teach part-time at the college level in like a credential program, let's say, something like that, once you get enough experience. So that's one path you can do. I went on and got my admin credential and my doctorate right after that. I chose not to be an administrator, but the unit still helped me out on the pay scale. So keep that in mind. Any units are helpful on no matter what subject or what topic you study. When I finished my doctorate, I started teaching at the college level in a credential and master's program. I started as a visiting professor, then I stayed on part-time when that position ended, and then I pursued a full-time position. So for me, I did my bachelor's, master's, and doctorate along with two different credentials. Took me, I would say, a total of about 12 years of college altogether. Which is a lot, yes. But most people like to teach for a while, then go back and get their master's, and then maybe try doing some leadership things on your campus, try doing some trainings, try things like that and see if you like it. If you like that, then maybe consider teaching at the college level. If you decide to teach at, let's say, a community college, then you're going to want to think about maybe a master's in a subject that you want to teach, because you will have a hard time teaching community college with an education master's. So you'll want to think about those paths and where you really want to end up. Okay? That's the end of this video for your general career questions. There are two other videos as well as a survey, so please take the survey so we can improve what we're doing and offer you more opportunities in the future. Thanks.